Previously on The Lost Art.
I can't understand why I wasn't allowed to come here.
How old were you?
17. My parents were very protective.
Say, where does this lead?
If I remember correctly, that's a maintenance closet. The door is jammed.
Is there any way you could please let my team know I'm alive?
Stay.
I think it's okay, Colonel.
Henry? Whoa. They could just do that? Are you okay?
Sorry, sir. I think they were trying to communicate with me.
Tell me this isn't happening.
Schisms on the surface are mirrored in the cavern. The team is in mourning, desperate for hope. People of the tablet also are struggling, diminished in numbers by a dark civil war. Together and alone, they ponder the pieces, opening to the vision. The deep-seated gods, a solution is growing at the heart of the labyrinth. Reflection brings revelation, and mystery prevails.
Are you looking for me?
Just thought I'd see this famous factory for myself.
Want to hitch a ride? Andy. The control center's this way and...
Where's the closest linking book back to Dunny?
What? But you haven't even seen the factory.
I know, and I'm sorry. But I really need to speak to Zarek.
This is the truth of it. For many, many years, we were mistreated by your kin.
My kin? No, you must mean the Dani. We are not the same.
Have the likes of you not been in the cavern before?
We only arrived 3 months ago. There were explorers from the surface before that, but... What the heck?
I am attempting to show you.
Oh dear. Morgan told me about the prison cages, but I didn't see them for myself. This wasn't us, Tiara. We mean you no harm. What is it? What's happened? Mein Gott!
Is the intention not to harm?
They were holding stunners. Those are only meant for defense.
It was our wish to reassure them of your survival.
Well, I guess the message didn't quite get through.
Is something wrong?
I'm surprised to see you using that.
This? Why would I use this antiquated device?
Never mind, I was just wondering. When this mission ends...
We have no idea how, when, or even if it will end.
What I'm trying to say is, will there come a time when it is safe for the world to know the truth about Dunny?
Why are you asking?
I'm thinking of writing a book.
It must have been something.
What do you mean?
Being in the cavern, back when it was full of life. Maybe this will help.
What is this?
You'll probably want to record your own reflections, but I wanted you to have full access to the archives.
Thanks. Thanks, Eric.
Are you making me see this?
How well did you know him?
Well enough to argue with him incessantly. But I was very fond of Alex. What about you? I don't remember seeing you in the cafe that often.
I tended to stick to the mess. In fact, I only knew the good doctor by sight before we came down here.
Wheelie Enberg. Oh, she was your friend, wasn't she?
It could have been me.
What do you mean?
I would have been with her if my parents hadn't dragged me to a lecture.
I'm sure by now, many of you have witnessed the recent appearances of Barrow screaming from rooftops. We know the situation is a little frightening, but rest assured the DRC is doing everything we... Victor? There's been an accident on Igura.
I'm sorry if this sounds insensitive, but thank goodness for that. She died here, didn't she? A tremor.
It was another girl who died in the rockfall. Wheelie was killed by a Barrow.
Oh God, Katya, that's terrible.
Well, there doesn't appear to be anything wrong with the door mechanism itself. There's no visible lock. I find it hard to believe they just gave up without... Hang on. Felix told me the other day that the capabilities of the scanners had been upgraded. So, if I try this... Oh, whoa! Right. Those are dunny numbers. So, a basic 3-digit pin. And maybe a directed pulse? Yep, that will advance the numbers. And it looks like each position cycles through the dunny numbers 0 to 24. So, now all I have to do is write a program that will test out all possible combinations. You just had to send Annie away. I bet you would have sorted this out in a jiffy. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know where.
I'm as reluctant as you, sir, but I think we have to tell them. They have to be prepared in case the Barrow prove to be a threat.
At the very least, the security team should be warned. It's a difficult call. On the one hand, we need to be on our guard, but on the other, we don't want to panic anyone unnecessarily. Or get the civilians all stirred up. Because I'm still not clear what it is you think you saw.
From what they said, it was very much like what Gruber and Lopahe saw in that neighborhood.
What they allegedly saw, Culver. And that could have been a simple view screen glitch. Are you trying to say your brain is malfunctioning? Please don't tell me you're switching sides.
I wish it was as simple as that, sir.
Zarek.
You look worried.
I think we have to tell him.
Tell me what?
As I remember, you swore that those Barrow creatures had abandoned the cavern.
Easy peasy.
How are you feeling?
Mein Kopf tut weh.
Defender of the people, Alex, I'm sorry.
What did you just show me?
The Great Schism, a time of terrible darkness.
Great Schism. What humans might call a civil war? Wait a second. The Barrow conflict. Oh, sorry. One of our team had this idea that it was your Great Schism that's responsible for the problems on the surface. Which then begs the question... You said that there was damage in the place of shifting in the tree world?
This is so.
So it is possible. The conflict could have caused all the problems you've been finding with the linking fields?
The fields, as you call them, go through periods of expansion. It is our task to maintain them. Otherwise, they expand until they decay.
The field of shifting dissipates until it is no longer functional.
Presently, there are more,
Anomalies?
yes, that need mending. We have struggled.
You must understand, Defender of the People. This is a great shame for us. It is our purpose.
You were enslaved. The shame belongs to your enslavers. And that kind of stress. No wonder there was a war. Besides, without that damaged field, I would be a sorry puddle at the bottom of Kadish Tulisa. But it does raise the question, what happens if you can't fulfill your purpose?
New log. No, make that new secure log. Can't make head nor tail of the interface, but I've run several scans. which seem to indicate that the particles being generated by this machine have the same properties as those we've detected during linking. Could this be an Allion generator? It's clear they're being piped somewhere, but I can't tell where. Now that's a surprise. Where would they need Allions? Surely linking books generate their own locally. This could be important. Well, at least this book might prove useful. Hopefully it's not too technical for Katja, because it looks like it has something to do with the Dunny mapping system.
I can't believe they waited a day to tell us.
Yeah, well, I'm willing to bet that if they hadn't told Sarek, we still wouldn't know.
So why did he...
Morgan?
Don't be mad.
I know it.
What? No, it's not what you think. Wait, are you jealous? He asked me not to tell. Oh, it's a long story. But suffice it to say, Sarek's been having these intuitions about the mission. Visions in the form of some Dunny woman he read about in the archives. And I asked her...
You're seeing her as well?
No, I was just... Basically, I was playing along. I asked if there was anything she could tell us about the egg, and it was at that point that she changed into a Barrow, at least according to Zarek.
Huh. Are you sure there isn't anything going on with you two?
You're spending a lot of time in the pub.
You should try the bitter. They took her away. They took away my assistant and everyone else is too busy to help.
We're supposed to be... Why don't you go see Major Lev?
I'm not sick, Katja.
I wasn't meaning that. So what can I do?
I found this book that I think refers to the Rezero's navigation system. There's some Dunny writing.
Let's see it.
Oh, well, it isn't here. It's in the Great Zero. When I get back, I'll scan it and send you a copy.
Being here reminds me of Nick.
Who?
The guy who taught me Dunny. Years after the cavern had closed, I tracked him to his hometown. We met in the pub.
I was only there twice. The Dunny Teledon, I mean. I'm so sorry you'll never get to see it.
You need to get out more. But meanwhile, we've got that meeting.
There's a meeting?
Katja told me that during the Barrow conflict, her friend was killed by one.
From what you've described, Colonel, they didn't seem to be threatening you.
To be fair, I honestly think they were just trying to get our attention.
You just had to say that.
What do you mean?
You might as well.
I think one of them was trying to communicate telepathically.
Oh, really?
Thomas, you look perplexed.
I'm just wondering why nobody thought to give me a stunner.
I'm sure the Colonel will issue you one. As long as you promise not to shoot him.
Yeah, Morgan shot me.
What's it going to take to get you to forget that?
Can we please get back to the topic, people? Zarek, what do you actually know about this conflict?
Just that the Barrow were enslaved for many years, and after they were freed, there was an uprising by a faction that wanted revenge.
And that's why the DRC shut the place down?
No, that was for lack of funding.
But Katja said
A Barrow did kill my friend. And that was that as far as my parents were concerned. But honestly, I've never heard of another person being hurt by them.
Colonel,
Zarek?
there are several places in the records that mention that the Borrow have these special abilities.
Such as?
Changing the weather? I always considered the accounts fanciful.
Yes, Morgan?
I'm just playing devil's advocate here. On the one hand, a Borrow did kill Katya's friend. So, theoretically, you and Henry could have been in mortal peril. However, to hear Henry tell the tale, you actually let them try and communicate.
She has a point.
If we can communicate with them, and if they do have some kind of special powers, well, shouldn't we be asking them for help?